Yeah. So stereotypes about me.
Yeah. Or about like Canadians.
Canadians? Yeah. So if I ever meet anybody and they want to ask me out on a date or they want to hang out and get to know me, they always ask me, do you want to go watch hockey?
Like, you're supposed to know cheese. You're supposed to know wine.
Pretty sure Brazilian waxes were invented in the US. They might have been invented by Brazilians, but it was a concept created here. It's not a thing in Brazil.
So someone asked me where I was from, and I said Mexico. And then it's like I almost instantly knew what they were gonna say to me. They're like, are you legal? You know, first question.
The most irritating ones are the Brazilians all play soccer every day, and that the country is a huge jungle. I guess that's the most irritating one.
And then she's like, so can I have another Mexican friend? Let me show you. And she pulls out her phone and she literally scrolls through 300 photos before she gets to her one Mexican friend. And then she hella zooms in and she goes, that's my Mexican friend. And I'm like, am I supposed to know her?
Obviously, and as soon as a brown-skinned guy shows up, there is a clear assumption that you're a computer genius, right? I was at a winery and me and my wife were having a good time, and my daughter was playing. And then there was another group of older group of people just over there. And then one guy comes over and he starts talking to us, and he's like, "So you're from India?" I'm like, "Yep, I'm from India." And he's like, "So you must be good in computers." And I'm like,
So I used to run track in high school, and they would say, "Oh, of course you run good. You're from Mexico, like you have to run fast," which I don't know what that means, but I used to get it a lot. Assuming that I can swim because I swim across the border. To cross the border, they asked me that.
I would say every single time that someone would like ask me my opinion about a wine, I can pretend that I know, just because I'm French. Yeah, I totally know that. Like, this is like woody or whatever. Like, it has like some tones of fruits or.
Not too long ago, a coworker, I was speaking Spanish, and a coworker turned around and she goes, "You know what? Every time I hear you guys speak Spanish, all I want is some tacos and some margaritas." I just kind of looked at her like, eh.
but that's a very common stereotype. Curry is something that people know. So as soon as you are in a conversation, I'm from India. "Oh, I love curries." I'm like, when I meet a Chinese person, I never say that I love noodles. It's
"Oh, so you're from India. Your English is flawless." I'm like, "So what?" And that again like seems ignorant to me, right? It's like, oh, we grew up learning English, and part of it was just because we were ruled by the British, and so our entire schooling system was influenced by that. So was our parliament and government system. But yeah, that's like, "Oh, your English is flawless. That's good for you." I'm like, yeah, it is good for me, but it's not surprising.
"Oh, you're Muslim. You must cover your head." And no, I don't. I don't have to. I wasn't raised to cover my head, so I don't.
Being French is definitely an advantage here. I don't know if it's because of the French kiss, or it's just people have an idea that French people are just so romantic, or just that we know everything about the romance life. And it's definitely not the case, but you can just pretend that you know things. So especially in Arkansas, they haven't seen foreigners once, and then second, I'm French, so they're like, they get their ideas from movies as well. So French guys are just always, they talk always an accent a little bit, and they flirt with their women.
The other one that I guess is big about French is the whole, like, we are rude. And because I'm pretty straightforward, I think I might be more rude than a lot of people, but I don't think we're actually rude. I just think we're less superficial. I'm not gonna be all like, "Okay, like, you're my BFF and I've missed you so much." Or like all these like superficial, like soppy things, cheesy stuff that a lot of Americans tend to do. I probably don't do it.
there are also stereotypes that we're very polite. So people will say, oh, you're so nice, you're so polite, and oh my gosh, you're such a lovely person. And for us, it's just the bare norm you treat everybody with. So sometimes I think people think that you're treating them in a really special way and you really like them, but really you're just not being rude.
I'm a black woman, so I think the race stereotype. I mean, there have been acts that people have, I've observed, the way people interact with me, the questions they ask me, the challenges they place on me, that I wonder, what is this? Why are we having this conversation? What's going on here?
His name is Mohammed, and he, for the first time ever, since growing up here, for the first time, my dad, who has managed to bring his family here, make something of us, make sure we go to college, work 3 jobs, work 7 days a week, never really taken a vacation. For the first time, a couple of weeks ago, he said, I think we need to find another place to live.
Then again, I'm a Muslim, so you know what's going on in the world now. So that probably has something to do with it also.
So when 9/11 happened, that's when people, I was in 8th grade, and people, it finally started to hit them that I was Muslim. It was never a topic of conversation. It never really got brought up. It was never like, oh, you're different, or yeah, your name is different. But it wasn't really until that event that it was like, wow, Oluwaseun is a Muslim. And then that's when the jokes started coming, like those little microaggressions of, oh, you're Muslim. Is Osama bin Laden your father? Like those types of things started to pop up. And when you are different, it's hard. You kind of brush it off, think it's a joke, but it's there. And yeah, a lot of things happen in my life and I don't remember them, but I remember that.
I've gone to stores and see people follow me and in a store looking for something, or I'm waiting and somebody bypasses another, kind of ignores me and goes to somebody else. The other person happens to be, white. I mean, so I kind of notice those things.
The stereotypes about women can be very demeaning and just upsetting as well. I guess people see pictures of Carnival and beautiful women in tiny bikinis and feathers, and that's a costume that they wear for a couple days of the festival. But that's the picture they see, and people just assume that that's how Brazilians dress, and that all Brazilian women are dark-skinned, curvy women that walk around half naked. That is not true at all. So it's upsetting that people don't just make those assumptions that are ridiculous to think about, and they just believe that that's true, and they don't look into it or don't want to hear, what a native has to say about it.
I think that especially right now, in what we call the Trump era, there's been a huge rise in how people stereotypically think about Mexicans or Latinos, because not everyone is Mexican. And I think that there's definitely been misconceptions of why we're here. I know that there's definitely in the conservative side, there's thoughts that we're here to rape people or to, not pay taxes and just to kind of take advantage of the culture, which is complete opposite. I mean, I'm sure some people do that, but it's a complete opposite of why people come here in the first place and to the land of opportunities, is because if they can't find somewhere in Mexico, or I'm sure in any other country, they can't find that good life, they come to the US because they know that this is where they can find that opportunity to provide to their family. So for example, my stepmom's brother moved here to the US some years ago. He's back now in Mexico, but he came here because he had 2 kids and a wife in Mexico, and he just wasn't getting enough money to provide for them. So he moved here and he had 3 jobs, never had a time off. I mean, with 3 jobs, how can you? And he lived with a bunch of guys in the same house. So it wasn't a life for him, but he was here because it was how he could provide to his family. And it was, it just wasn't a life for him. So he ended up moving back and preferred to be with his family than pursuing money. But just one case out of many people that come here to pursue that better life, to provide to their families, which actually makes the economy better, because Mexicans or Latinos or other people, minorities, are doing jobs that other people don't want to do for way less money.
My dad, he's been called derogatory names, and he's had stuff, thrown at him. But my dad is like the most, he's like a teddy bear. So, and like, he's worked so hard to bring us here, and he's so proud to live here. He's so proud to be an American. I mean, 4th of July, we've got the American flag on our, in front of our house. We celebrate 4th of July in a very, very big way, and it's a very big event in our family. So for my father to be singled out like that, more than anything, it's sad.
We do so much to protect ourselves, and we even have prepared speeches. Like, I have prepared speeches of what I'm gonna tell them, and based on how they react, what another thing I'm gonna tell them, because you have to self-protect, and because you have to just eliminate the bullshit. But for the land of opportunity, we really like to put people in boxes, which kind of blows my mind, but there are worse things, I guess.